Let's be honest, folks, international politics can be a messy business. It's like a reality show with higher stakes. And sometimes when things get out of hand, one of the big players, like the United States, steps in with something called sanctions. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly are sanctions? In simple terms, they're like a financial timeout. The US uses sanctions to put pressure on individuals, like politicians or business tycoons, who are involved in shady dealings. Think corruption, human rights abuses, or actions that threaten America's interests. It's their way of saying, hey, we see what you're doing and we're not cool with it. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how do these sanctions actually work? Well, let me tell you, they can be incredibly effective. Imagine this. You wake up one morning and your bank card doesn't work. You try to book a flight, but you're blocked. Your bank accounts are frozen. Suddenly, you're cut off from the global financial system. That's the power of the US. They control some of the biggest financial networks in the world, like Visa, MasterCard, and SWIFT. When they say jump, banks and businesses around the world tend to ask how high, because nobody wants to be on America's bad side.
The United States has passed legislation allowing for targeted sanctions against individuals in South Africa. But, how does this process work in practice? The United States maintains significant influence over global financial transactions. Major systems such as Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Diners Club, and SWIFT are either American-owned or, heavily influenced by US regulations. Even a simple purchase at a local supermarket using a bank card is routed through systems controlled or monitored by US-based networks. As a result, one of the first steps in sanctioning an individual is to block access to these financial systems. The person would be unable to use cards for payments, limiting them really to cash transactions. Next, targeted individuals may have their local or international bank accounts frozen. Many corrupt officials, particularly among the ANC elite, have funneled stolen funds into offshore accounts. The US government can request that these foreign banks freeze such accounts. If a bank refuses, it risks being blacklisted, meaning it could be barred from issuing credit cards, participating in SWIFT, or processing US-linked transactions. Even South African banks could be pressured. If a bank refuses to comply, its credit card services and international transactions could be suspended, effectively isolating it from the global banking system. Sanctioned individuals can also be barred from flying internationally. US authorities can instruct international airlines to deny ticket sales or boarding to specific individuals. Airlines that fail to comply could face severe penalties, including being banned from entering US airspace or losing access to American passengers and business partners. Given the financial losses airlines suffered during the COVID-19 pandemic, most would be, understandably, unwilling to take such risks. Before any sanctions are imposed, a thorough investigation must be conducted. The new United States law outlines clear criteria under which individuals can be targeted, ensuring that sanctions are based on credible evidence and due process.
Now, some of you might be thinking, this is all very interesting, but what does it have to do with South Africa? Well, let me tell you, South Africa is not immune to these sanctions. Remember Eskom and Transnet? Those massive state-owned companies that have been plagued by corruption scandals? Well, the US has been keeping a close eye on them. Individuals who are found to have lined their pockets with money meant for the people could face serious consequences, including sanctions. And it's not just limited to CEOs and executives. Even high-ranking politicians or lawyers could be targeted if they're caught breaking the rules.
Eskom. Soon the Eskom thieves will be exposed and sanctioned. Once a global benchmark for affordable and reliable electricity, Eskom has collapsed due to corruption and mismanagement. There was a time that South Africa had the cheapest and most reliable electricity in the world. During that time, many factories were built in South Africa, specifically to make use of the cheap electricity. Car factories and aluminium factories. Today, South Africa has the most expensive, least reliable electricity supply in the world. This negatively impacts factories. There are also, many other American businesses in South Africa, not only factories, but that are also negatively impacted by high electricity prices and load shedding. This decline has hurt not only local industry but also American companies operating in South Africa, especially those relying on energy-intensive processes like car and aluminium manufacturing. Transnet. Similarly, corruption at Transnet has severely affected port efficiency. As South African ports decline, many companies now import goods via Mozambique, increasing costs and delays for American businesses. Government officials. Figures such as Ronald Lamola and Naledi Pandor may face scrutiny. If it is established that they had foreknowledge of the October 7th attack on Israel, or if their actions in the International Court of Justice case against Israel are deemed hostile to United States interests, they could potentially be designated as international threats. Also, the South African legal representatives involved in the case against Israel may come under investigation. It is unclear how long these sanctions may last. They might remain in place until stolen funds are returned, damages are compensated, or significant reforms are undertaken. Ultimately, sanctions are a powerful tool to hold individuals accountable and protect global stability and commercial interests.
So, what happens if you find yourself on the wrong side of these sanctions? Well, it's not like a simple trip to the principal's office. These things can last for years, even decades. The only way to get out from under them is to address the issues that got you there in the first place. That means returning stolen funds, paying damages, and implementing serious reforms to prevent future wrongdoing. It's a long and difficult road, but it's the only way to restore trust and get back in the good graces of the international community.